Rovers return to EFL Championship action up against struggling Portsmouth, that's right, who do come into this on the back of a win, that's right. Can Rovers get back to winning ways in their own backyard? We'll take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match preview. Looking forward to Blackburn Rovers taking on Portsmouth, coming at you in just 1 second. Well, of course, Rovers on the back of their own win against Cardiff most recently, but can we get back to winning ways on our own back turf? We'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. You want to stop shop for Blackburn Rovers Championship World Football. We're going to all hear under one Rooski. That's right, spicy game up ahead for Blackburn Rovers as they try to get their Ewood faithful right back on track. Because after this, let's not discredit this game. There's some real nasty looking games coming at you for Blackburn Rovers as we enter the into the fucking festive period. We'll get to that. Of course, big shout out to the patrons, big shout out to the members. You know who you are. But anyway, let's get into it. Alrighty then, here we go. Looking back, or looking forward, should we say? Looking forward to this next round of games. It's Blackburn, it's Pompey, it's coming at you at Ewood Park, and let's take a look at it under the microscope. Now, they have played 21 times since 1999. Rovers winning 13 of them. Just 4 wins for Portsmouth. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. Of course, Rovers, they currently find themselves 9th with 22 points to the name. Just 1 win in the last 5. Up against Portsmouth on pretty much identical kind of form here. 42% form, also 1 win at the last 5. They sit 23rd though with 12 points to the name. And of course looking to get back to winning ways. Now over the course of the 21 games, Rovers boast a 3-0 win. They scored 35 goals compared to Pompey's 21, averaging 1.67 goals a game compared to their 1 goal a game. But of course the most recent games were these. The last 6, as both home and away. Rovers winning 4 of them, just losing them once and drawing them once. That last defeat was all the way back in 2008 in the Promised Land. That was the Premier League, losing to a Portsmouth that had include Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe to name. But we had a little Turkish gem on our own hands in Tugay. The last time that we did play, though, at Blackburn Rovers at Ewood Park was in League One. We came out top with a big 3-0 win. Dacarino on the score sheet. Danny Graham and Craig Conway in a rainy, I think my memory serves me, a rainy day at Ewood Park. Let's take a look, though, at the last, I don't know why I'm looking at this, the last 6 at Fratton Park. I don't know why I did that, but just for your leisure, the last 6 at Fratton Park, because it's, you know why? You know why I did that? Because I'm going to be at fucking Portsmouth. I'm not going to be at Ewood. I've got to see me old mucker down there, so I will not be able to watch this game, even though I'll be in England. I've got to say hello. But anyway, it's a decent record against them at Fratton Park. But anyway, if you want to look at the last 10, and maybe let's do the math over the last, what we're looking at, last 5 here at Ewood Park. Rovers, I believe, just the 1 defeat. That was all the way back in September 2007, with Pompey coming out top with a 1-0 win in front of 19,000 fans at Ewood Park, of course. So the last time they played at Ewood Park, just 11,000. Just 11,000 saw that 3-0 win, of course. Let's take a look then at the squads under the microscope. Rovers valued around about €50 million compared to the €18 million of Pompey, which works out around about £585,000 per player, compared to Rovers 1.93 per player as well. They've got a younger squad compared to us. We have more national team players. They have more youth national team players, and they have more foreigners than we do. What about the coaches then? There they are under the microscope. Eustace and a 1.48 points per match. I don't think he's ever managed against Pompey. I don't think he's ever managed against John Mousinho. Correct me if I'm wrong. Speaking of Mousinho, he's there with a 1.73 points per match, of course, ratio, and he's just 38 years of age. Let's take a look then at the squads. This is mainly aimed at the Portsmouth fans who might be catching this for the first time. The likes of Blasas Toth, weight in the wings. I think he's got a little weight on his hands at the moment. And then hopefully we might have some options at the back. Pickering has been at left back most recently, and it's good to have a bit of backup, bit of cover. But hopefully we'll have an Owen Beck back in the mixer as well. But no Hayden Carter, Scotty Wharton out for the long term as well. So interesting dilemma at the back. Meanwhile, into midfield, of course, Travis stood out last time around. Lewis Baker got himself a goal as well. Cantwell running the show. It's proving to... I think it's... Look at that guy. Look at Igor Tijon. He's looking like he's about 10 years old, but he's there. Yeah, hopefully we'll have the likes of Dewsbury back. Hopefully we'll have Sigurdsson back, Owen Beck back. Tyree Stone will be back, of course, from suspension, to give a bit of a headache for John Eustace, coming into us on the back of a most important morale-boosting victory against Cardiff. This is what I've gone with, though, for my lineup. I've got pairs between the sticks: Owen Beck, Dom Heim, Danny Bath, and Callum Britton. Kind of picks the three of the four. Actually, the back four should pick itself. I'm trying to get away from the Travis Tronstad doubleheader there, but I think right now, coming into us on the back of that win, we've got to stick with it. I thought Travis was phenomenal. Tronstad does a lot of dirty work that doesn't get a lot of plaudits. Baker got himself a goal. Maybe he can push himself into contention. But realistically, this is just my squad. This is my hope. I probably won't go with anywhere near this. But the likes of Siggy, the likes of Dewsbury and Dolan will all probably get ahead of Baker, to be honest with you, because he's more of a... hard-working guy than a creative flair player, so we'll see. Cantwell on the left, Regis on the right, and Ohashi up top, and we could do with him getting a goal these days. What about the opposition? Well, this is Portsmouth, that's right. They've got the likes of Jordan Archer there, but Nicholas Schmid expected to continue between the sticks. They've got Tam McIntyre picked up from Reading. Good signing there. They've got Regan Poole picked up from Lincoln. Matt Ritchie in as a defender, which of course he's more of a winger. He might have got a little bit older legs, but could still got that quality in there as well. What about the midfield? We got the likes of Freddie Potts pulling the strings these days. Josh Murphy out wide as well. Marlon Pack got I'm sure has he got a free kick on him? I think he's got a free kick on him. I think we'll feel it as well. Adumale Kamari as well. Up top, the likes of Yengi. Kobe Bishop got back to scoring ways following his medical issues, of course, so good to see him back. But this is how I go for it this coming match day. We got Schmid, Ogilvy on the left, we got Devlin on the right, Marlon Pack, Regan Poole, Freddie Potts, Dazelle, Josh Murphy, Callum Lang, Matt Ritchie to offer real true width, and then we got Colby Bishop to start. Of course, came on as a sub last time around. Good chance for him to get in there following this international break. Let's take a look then at the key players, or the star men, or the most valuable players. Of course, Tyrese Dolan coming at you with €5 million. Please sign the contract. Please, please, please. As for Abdou Kamare coming at you with a £1.5 million rated. He's, of course, classed as a defensive midfielder, and he's only 20 years of age. What about the key men for both sets of sides here? Pears has been phenomenal between the sticks. Proving all the doubters wrong, but he's got to keep on his game. Ahead of Tom Campbell, who does deliver those pass before the pass sort of move, and Travis has just been a general alongside his buddy Tronster. There's no point dropping them if they keep performing 7 out of 10s. As for their opposition, Freddie Potts has been pulling the strings for Portsmouth. Marlon Pack's also been a strong presence in that midfield, despite the situation at the bottom of the table right now. They've the goods coming from those guys in midfield. Take a look at the summaries then. Of course, it's 6.92 on average for Rovers with 15 games played, 19 goals scored, but 17 conceded, averaging 1.3 goals a game. No penalties thus far. As for Portsmouth, they've played 15 games as well, scoring 16 goals, which is pretty healthy. 28 goals conceded, though. They've had 4 penalties thus far, scoring 3 of them. We've yet to get one thus far this season. We're averaging 48.7% possession per match compared to the 43.2 of that of Pompey. They've only got 2 clean sheets thus far. We have 5. And as for duels won, 50.9% duels won. However, Portsmouth much better, 48.5% of duels won. Not as good as us, actually, when I look back at that. They've had no red cards. We've had 2. Take from that from what you will. Let's take a look then at the possession stats. Then when Rovers are in possession, they prefer the right-hand side to the left. And, of course, they prefer to be found in the middle third. And, of course, just 27% in that attacking area. As for Portsmouth, they prefer the left to the right. But are more often found in the attacking third than they are in the defensive third. So, I guess you could look at that as an area of I don't know what, due to where they are on the table, is that a good thing? 32% in the attacking third. It means they're on the front foot a lot. But the results aren't going that way. As for shots, Rovers seem to prefer the left to the right, and of course fire the trigger 14% of the time in the 6-yard area. Portsmouth split it up between the left and the right. and 8% in that 6-yard area as well. When they have received shots, though, Rovers are more often than not receiving the shots coming at you from the left-hand side, and 37% of all their shots coming out of the box, the long-range area. As for Portsmouth, again, they put more often than not getting the shots from the left, and again, at 34% outside the box. Of course, goals, though, the goals coming from Rovers, 13 of them from open play, 3 set pieces and 3 counter-attacks. Portsmouth, though, 7 through open play, 4 set pieces, deadly. Penalties, of course, quite often as well, and 1 counter-attack and 1 OG. Goals conceded, though, 11 for Rovers via open play, 4 set pieces and 2 penalties. As for Portsmouth, they're conceding 14 through open play, 6 set pieces, 3 counter-attacks, 3 penalties, and 2 own goals. Let's take a look at the rub of the green then, shall we? Now, this is what's coming up for both sides. Following on from this game, of course, Rovers will be taking on Middlesbrough on the road. Then it's Leeds, of course, in quick succession. Tricky part of the season there as we enter the month of December. Then it's Hull away, Sheffield Wednesday away, and then Luton Town at home. A more favourable time for Rovers. But basically, when I look at that, I'm looking at 3 of the next 4 besides this game on the road. As for Portsmouth, they're going to be taking on Millwall on the 27th of November. Then it's Swansea on the road, Bristol City, Norwich, back at Fratton Park, and then Derby County. Of course, again, this is probably a good part of the season for Portsmouth. You know, you favour them against Millwall, perhaps, maybe even get something against Swansea if they can get a bit of momentum going. And then at Fratton Park, it's anyone's game. You know, I think Portsmouth are slouches. The Rovers' record, though, is not great coming at you from the last 3 games at Ewood Park, without a win in the last 3. In fact, without a goal in the last 3. In fact, the last time they scored, I saw it. I was there. And unfortunately, I'm in England, but I'm actually going to be in Portsmouth, which has got me all kind of backwards and crazy. As for Portsmouth, they come into this without a win in the last 3. Their last win, prior to the last game against Preston, their one and only win was against QPR at Loftus Road. But, seem to find the back of the net, even though when they're getting turned over by Burnley and Stoke, they seem to find the back of the net. Only 2 of the last 6 games they haven't scored on the road. Meanwhile, coming at you, the strengths for Rovers, their counter-attacks, long-shot opportunities, aerial duels, and protecting the lead. We also steal the ball from the opposition. However, weaknesses for Rovers, avoiding offside, defending against skillful players with our style of play. Through balls, often we allow opponents to play aggressively against us, but we're also quite aggressive ourselves. As for Pompey, aerial duels are their strengths. Their weaknesses, though, avoiding individual errors, defending against counter-attacks, avoiding fouling in dangerous areas, also defending against attacks down the wings. Meanwhile, keeping possession of the ball is also a bit of a concern, as are long shots, protecting the lead and defending set pieces. Their style of play is long shots, long balls, attempting crosses, often attacking down the left, playing with a lot of width and also quite aggressive. The forecast says Rovers will score from a fast break as well as a long shot and will steal the ball quite often from the opposition. Portsmouth, though, will be shown a high number of cards, and there will be a high number of cards shown in this game. This is a quick warped look at the table as you see it right here, right now, after we've completed match number 15. It is Sunderland, it is Sheffield United, tip at the top of the graphic right there, with Leeds hot in pursuit, Burnley ain't too far away either, West Brom and then Watford. Rovers are down to 9th with Portsmouth all the way down to 23rd, but a win for Pompey could see them go up as high as 19th. A win for Rovers could see them go as high as 5th. We shall see, though, if that comes to fruition. This is the rest of the games coming out of this next weekend. We'll see Plymouth against Watford. They'll kick us all off at Home Park on Friday before Saturday's games. Coventry, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff, Swansea, Leeds, Bristol City, Burnley, West Brom, Norwich, Preston, Derby, Luton, Hull, Oxford Borough, Millwall, Sunderland, QPR and Stoke. But the game of the day will be at Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers take on Portsmouth. And I believe Philly Pete will be there with a watch along. I might be there with a watch along, I don't know, but I think Philly Pete will be there if I'm going to be completely honest. Of course, the Swansea Leeds game is on the 24th, which is the Sunday. What about my prediction then, shall we, for this one? Of course, Rovers need to bounce back and fast. I'm over the moon with that win against Cardiff, but I'm a little bit curious, a little bit concerned about Portsmouth picking up a big win over Preston. Of course, a morale-boosting win for them. Colby Bishop is back. Seemed to be a key person for them last season. And I think if they get him firing, they might just have a secret weapon to get themselves out of the drop zone. All that being said, I think Rovers should come out top with a win here. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. If they can get back to scoring ways, get Yuki on the ball, get him a goal or two, and then we might have our own little secret weapon on our hands. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, being bold, being brave, get back to winning ways before a really rough end to the month, where Middlesbrough will be waiting in the wings. That's all I've got. Subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, we're done.